Imagine someone buying a packet of cigarettes. They may think, one packet won't hurt, or perhaps I can quit whenever I want. However, they may underestimate the likelihood of addiction, the future healthcare costs, or the reduction in life expectancy. And because they underestimate these private costs, they consume more than is actually in their own best interests. And economists call products like cigarettes demerit goods. By definition, a demerit good is a good or service that is overconsumed because consumers either underestimated its true private costs or overestimated its private benefits. Well, notice that this differs from a negative consumption externality. Negative consumption externalities focus on costs imposed on third parties that are not involved in the transaction, while demerit goods focus on consumers making poor decisions for themselves. Well, consider cigarette smoking. Consumers may enjoy immediate satisfaction, but they may underestimate future medical expenses, the risk of serious illness, and the long-term impact on their quality of life. And consequently, they consume more cigarettes than is in their own long-term interests. Let's use a diagram to illustrate this. On the vertical axis, we measure costs and benefits. On the horizontal axis, we measure the quantity of cigarettes consumed. Now let's first draw the marginal private cost curve, MPC, which is also the supply curve. And since there are no production externalities, the marginal social cost curve also overlaps with MPC. Now, let's draw the perceived marginal private benefit curve, which is downward sloping. So MPB perceived. Because consumers overestimate the immediate benefits of smoking or underestimate its long-term harm, their perceived willingness to consume is relatively high. This curve lies above the true private benefit. Now, let's draw the actual marginal private benefit curve below the perceived one. This reflects the true private benefit once all future healthcare consequences are considered. Since this example focuses purely on information failure, MSB overlaps with the actual marginal private benefit curve. The market equilibrium occurs when the perceived marginal private benefit intersects with the marginal private cost at this point of market equilibrium here with a quantity QM transacted in the market. The socially efficient quantity, however, occurs when marginal social benefit intersects with the marginal social cost at this dot here, denoting the socially efficient outcome. And this gives us the quantity QS, the socially efficient quantity. Notice that the socially efficient quantity QS is actually below the market transaction quantity QM. So we say that the market overconsumes cigarette. And the triangular area in between QS and QM bounded by marginal social cost and marginal social benefit here is known as the deadweight loss. These units of consumption reduce overall welfare because consumers make decisions based on inaccurate perceptions. While governments may respond using health warning labels, public information campaigns, or minimum age laws. These policies reduce information gaps and may help consumers make decisions that better reflect their true long-term interest. Well, in conclusion, a demerit good is overconsumed because consumers underestimate their own private costs or overestimate the benefits. Unlike negative consumption externalities, the focus is not on the harm imposed on third parties, but instead, the market failure arises because consumers make decisions based on imperfect information or behavioral biases.